last day of October, so happy Halloween, which also means it is the last day of Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Dysautonomia means there's a malfunction in your autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system controls stuff like your heart beating, your lungs to breathe, your pupils to dilate. It basically controls the things that you don't think about. So one of the conditions under that dysautonomia umbrella is something called POTS, which stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome. I myself struggle from POTS. So what is POTS, you may be asking? POTS is defined as an abnormal heart rate upon being upright. So for someone with POTS, when we stand up, our autonomic nervous system is malfunctioned, and so instead of the blood flowing through the body normally, it pools down in our legs, which then causes our heart to beat even harder, which then causes us to get symptoms of like dizziness, fainting, lightheadedness, presyncope. Some other symptoms of POTS are also generalized weakness in the body, you get brain fog, headaches, problems with concentration and word finding, you get tunnel vision, you also get digestive issues, because when you eat, the blood goes out of your stomach, which also causes your heart to work even harder, so you get those symptoms as well. You get short of breath, and so basically you either pass out or you feel like you're going to pass out. You get close to passing out. Most of the time, to be tested for POTS, you have this test called the tilt table test. So basically what you do is you lay flat on this table and you're strapped down. And so they take your blood pressure every couple minutes while you're laying flat just to get a baseline. And then they raise the table up so you're standing upright, but you're strapped in so that if you do faint, you don't fall forward and hit your head. And then so with standing up, they continue to take your blood pressure and your heart rate to see what it does. And so for a normal person, you may see like a little spike, but then it normals out. But for someone with POTS, the heart rate keeps climbing, and that's your autonomic nervous system not functioning right, trying to get the blood to pool back throughout the body normally. So some of the treatments for POTS is increasing your fluids. Generally, they want you to drink 2 liters of water a day, because for those with POTS, there's a lower blood volume, so you have to drink more water to increase that, and we don't retain water as well, so they want you to drink more water. And they also would like you to increase your salt, because again, we don't retain water as well, so they want you to retain all that water. You also have to exercise just to keep your body healthy and all that. And you could also wear compression stockings to help keep the blood from pooling in your legs. And avoid excessive standing, excessive heat. Some people also take blood pressure medications and some other type of medications. There's also saline infusions that people do a couple times a week to help increase the fluids in your body. So what does POTS mean for me? I personally don't faint. I'm able to catch it in time. And so when I stand, the longer upright I am, the more lightheaded I get. I will go tunnel vision, and my vision will go black. And that is when I know I am going to faint, and so I need to sit or lay down to have the blood flow better through my body, because if I don't, I know I'm going to pass out. So I am lucky I am actually able to catch it before I actually pass out. And also, when I eat, I also become lightheaded, and sometimes my vision goes black after eating, and when I stand up, my vision goes black. Because when you eat, the blood flows to your stomach to try and start that digestion. So again, just like standing, your heart beats faster, try to regulate that blood better, and it just causes all these array of symptoms. I can't walk through a grocery store without sitting several times. And at the moment, I am struggling to get a full meal in a day and a full glass of water in a day. So that whole increase your fluids and then increase your salt is not taking effect for me because I just physically can't do it. So that means at the moment my POTS is not controlled. There are also medications that people take for POTS, which at the moment I am not taking any medication. It's still trying to figure that all out. So I am not on any treatment for POTS. There are a lot of people who do saline infusions 2 to 3 times a week, and they all benefit greatly from it. So I have contacted my neurologist to see if that's something that maybe we could pursue, because at the moment I cannot get enough fluids in, so it would benefit more than just my POTS. So the lack of fluid intake is also causing me to become really weak, and so it's making it even harder to walk, and which also makes it harder to exercise. I try the best that I can, but it is pretty difficult at the moment. So my POTS currently is not under control as I would like it to be. But we're working on it. So I currently use a walker that has a seat on it, and occasionally I use wheelchairs to help manage my POTS and other conditions. But POTS is one of the reasons why I use like a walker or a wheelchair, because if I go like grocery shopping or we do anything that requires any distance walking, I need to continually sit down or I'm going to pass out. I get a lot of stairs and everything when I'm using a wheelchair, but especially when I'm using the walker. I get a lot of stares, mostly from the elderly. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's judgmental or curiosity. Eventually you do get used to it. In the beginning, when I first started using it, I was very self-conscious because I would get a lot of stares and everything, but if it wasn't for these, I wouldn't be able to go out at all. So I don't care if I get the stares anymore. I'm doing what I can to go out. And so if you see someone who is young using like a walker or a wheelchair, don't assume that they are faking it or they don't need it and they're just using it for fun, because most of the time they're not. They need that medical equipment to help negate their disability. So currently there is no cure for POTS, and all we can really do right now is just manage our symptoms. So let's spread awareness about dysautonomia and POTS so that we can get the research that is needed to maybe someday hopefully find a cure. Thank you.